Listen and stay a while. Welcome back, guys. We are back with Diablo 3, and this is what I promised you guys in the last video, a review of each of the classes. This is not a legitimate review. This is everything belongs to Blizzard, and all their information's here about the different classes. But this is just my opinion on how I think the classes are and how essential they are to your team if you do have a team, or if you want to go solo. Okay, we'll start with the Barbarian. Big man, same guy that from Diablo 2. He's just really old. He's still epic. Basically, he's a classic tank. He takes a lot of damage. He can also deal out a lot. He has multiple different variations on the way you can build him. He can go tank, like, you can use a shield and basically attribute all of your skills to defensive, to where he can basically, go toe-to-toe with Diablo and pretty much not die ever. Or you can attribute him to attack, which this guy right over here, as you can see, he was using his Fury technique, where he turns into one of the gods of, one of the barbarian gods, and he fights with a lot of attack power. He's a great tank. He's essential to pretty much any class, unless you have a monk, which we'll get to later. Any team you have a barbarian should never be passed up if you have the offer to get one. And the female just looks like she wants some mad snoo. Okay, moving on to the Demon Hunter. Very attractive, very sly. Basically, this is the ninja class. This is the Van Helsing class. Very quick, very light on their feet. They use crossbows, bows and arrows, and big crossbows, two-handed crossbows. They are very agile. They're basically like the ninjas of their time. They use different types of traps and stuff like that. They are massive damage dealers. By the time you hit level 60, if you're using a Demon Hunter, you can be pretty much God in terms of power, but not really in terms of taking damage. They're basically like mages in World of Warcraft. They can't take a hit worth crap. You basically have to kite everything in the game and just run around in circles. It's a really fun class to play. Really difficult, though, if you don't really know how to kite. Basically, the cool thing about them, though, is that they get two different types of skills, which I forgot to cover in the Barbarian. They use Rage and Fury, basically. But you guys should know what Fury is. The Demon Hunters use two. They use Discipline and Hatred. Hatred is the more commonly used one. It's basically like, oh, there's a little diagram over here. Hatred is the red. It is quickly regenerated, and you can use more of it a lot. Well, you can use both of them in the same amount, but you're more commonly going to use Hatred because Discipline is slowly recovered and used for the more powerful attacks. They use lots and lots of traps to help them out with their kiting, though. One of the first things you get is a slow trap. Basically, you lay the trap on the ground and it slows your target. That can really help in targeting and kiting bosses. So if you're into the ninja style class, the quick class, then definitely play the Demon Hunter. Now onto the monk, which I mentioned before. These guys are basically tanky, healing barbarians. They can dish out a crap ton of damage, but they can also heal themselves and your teammates. The reason I say that they're tanks is because of their healing. They're not really built to be tanks, but if you get in a pinch, or if they get in a pinch, then they can just heal themselves back up. But they are mainly meant for damage and keeping themselves alive. They're really fast and really powerful. They hit extremely fast. You would usually use fist weapons, to increase their attack as much as possible. As you can see in the diagram, that's using a staff. That's also a really common monk weapon. They are really mysterious as well. Like, this is a very interesting class because of how, all the different types of abilities that they have. They, of course, rely on the spiritual power that they use, and they're mainly a hand-to-hand fighting class. Like, basically they're kung fu. They're superpower kung fu. And what they use as their energy source is spirit, and, you know, that's their monk, spirit. And on to the Witch Doctor. This is a class I know and love. This is the first class I started off with on this game. It's a great class. It's basically a really, really offensive class. You can use minions. It's a sad substitute for the Necromancer in Diablo 2, but, you know, we can't have everything we want. These guys are amazing AoE damage dealers, and they can conjure some incredible minions to do their work. Basically, the minions can either attack or take all the damage. As you saw in my last video with my Witch Doctor, I have the Gargantuan Zombie and the zombie dogs. The dogs are mainly for kiting and for, you know, taking the damage away from you, and the Gargantuan Zombie is the tank. They are massive damage dealers with many different skills. They are really devout on their spirits. Like, anything that happens in the game, you'll hear the Witch Doctor say, "Oh, the spirits tell me that this place is strange," or "the spirits tell me that this place is dangerous." You know, they're basically really reliant on their spirits, and they usually come through. And they use mana just like any other magic wielding user. And on to the final, last but definitely not least, the Wizard class. This class is, I've heard mixed reviews on it. I haven't actually made one myself, but I have watched many videos, and one of my best friends plays a wizard, and I've seen him play. These guys are massive damage dealers, like, incredible. Like, you wouldn't even believe. But they are like the Demon Hunter in one way, that they cannot take a hit worth of crap. They have protective spells, but they don't protect you from everything. What I've seen them mainly focus on is using their, basically they turn into an Archon, like an Archon of magic, and they just send a massive beam of energy. I think that's what it is right there. They send a massive beam of energy at their enemies and can do some incredible damage. These guys use arcane power, so they're arcane mages rather than using regular old mana. And they use a ton of different spells. If you watch the little animation over here, you can see some of their different stuff that they can do. As you can see, this guy is using lightning elementals, and they look like some sort of projectiles. I'm definitely going to have to check this class out because it's interested me greatly. But, I don't know. I just don't really like mages that much. You know, the wizard, not really my class. I'm kind of the witch doctor-y, barbarian kind of guy. But, whatever, to each their own. I think that it's an amazing class. I think this game is almost perfect. The only thing that can make it perfect is if they added in the Necromancer. I think that any class would be a perfect choice for you or anyone. I'd recommend any of these to anyone. They're all great, and you should definitely check them all out if you get the chance. Well, this has been my review, my personal review of each of these classes from Diablo 3. Thank you guys for listening. I love you guys. Stay tuned for my walkthrough of Diablo 3, which should be coming on, I'm thinking it'll start sometime later this week. I still have to beat Batman Arkham City, but that shouldn't take too long. And as soon as I complete that, I'll hop right on completing this game on normal difficulty. And if I get enough positive review from it, then I'll do it on Nightmare, and so on and so forth. Alright, love you guys. Kisses. Bye-bye.